Before I end this video, I'm gonna tell you guys a story that I read on a forum. There was this guy who wanted a Rolex. I can't remember what that watch was, but I will never forget reading this. And he said that he kept going back, even to the point where he was bringing that authorized dealer donuts, gifts, and so on, trying to bribe the person. Don't do that. That is the worst thing you can do. Just go back as a customer, be professional. Don't bring donuts, don't bring flowers, don't start bringing stuff like that to try to sway this person, because the seller sees right through you, and if anything, all they're doing is laughing as soon as you leave, because it's actually ridiculous that you have to do that to get a watch. I'm going to get straight to the point. I was working on a Q&A video and I got one question that I decided to make a separate video for, and this video is going to be about avoiding the Rolex waitlist, or any waitlist for that matter. Let me read you guys this question, because when I read it, it really stuck with me, and I'll explain why. This comes from Connor Wong. First of all, thank you so much for the question. Any tips how to approach boutiques or ADs to get our dream watch at retail? Of course, spending a lot is an option, but obviously trying to avoid that. Now, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. There's 3 theories, keep in mind, theories, why there's shortage in supply. First of all, there's actually a shortage in supply. The boutiques and the brands can't actually meet the demand. That is the first one that people refuse to believe. It could be true, but nobody actually knows. The second is they're doing the shortage artificially. They're basically trying to create a shortage to increase the demand. Human nature, people want what they can't have. When brands do this, people get on waiting lists, they don't mind waiting, and the brand gets more popular. Look at AP, look at Rolex, even look at Omega right now with their new Caliber 321 and their James Bond Seamaster. When they're hard to get, people focus on the brand a little bit more. Now finally, and the worst kind of theory, but ADs do practice this, and that is bad business practices, manipulating business practices. Something a lot of people don't know, for you to become an authorized dealer for Rolex, you have to meet a quota in the end of the quarter. Now, Rolex has ridiculous quotas. They basically try to force ADs to sell a lot of Datejust, a lot of basically unsellable watches, lady Datejust, small watches, stuff that aren't popular. And Rolex has this quota for ADs to keep their license, that they have to meet all of this. So what authorized dealers do, they utilize the popular models in order for them to sell the unpopular ones. Now, how do they do this? Well, you go in, you want a Rolex GMT Master, you want a Rolex Daytona. God forbid you want a Rolex Daytona. And they'll tell you, hey, if you buy a little bit from us, we'll sell you this Daytona. Buy a few Datejust, become a customer of the brand, and we'll get you this Daytona. We'll hook you up. And I've had firsthand with this when the Oyster Perpetual wasn't even popular yet. They just didn't have it in stock, and a specific authorized dealer tried to play this with me. I wanted the Oyster Perpetual. They're like, hey, you know, we don't have it right now. And at the time I was at the authorized dealer with my mom. She was actually buying a watch, not me. And he was like, hey, you know, if you buy this watch, don't worry, I'll hook you up. I'll get you a Oyster Perpetual. Now, back to the topic. Now that you understand why there's wait lists, why there's a lot of frustration, how could you possibly avoid this, providing that the authorized dealer you're going to doesn't really practice these shady business models? Here's 3 of the most important things that you need to remember when going into an authorized dealer. First of all, you need to make sure they know you're not going to sell the watch as soon as you get it. The way you do this is, well, the way you approach the authorized dealer. You're going to go there, you're going to speak with them, you're going to speak with them on a personal collector level. You're going to tell them why you love this watch. You're going to tell them why you're hunting for this watch. I know it sounds weird, but you have to make sure that the seller kind of knows that you're buying this watch for yourself. If you're a seller, then they're probably going to notice. But if you're there genuinely wanting this watch for your personal collection, the first thing you need to do is to make sure they know that. I know it sounds weird, but authorized dealers don't want to be selling to resellers. For obvious reasons, they want to be selling to future clients. They want somebody who's going to keep buying from them, not just to flip the watch to make a profit. That is the first step. Now, the second step, knowing a lot of people in this watch industry, knowing a lot of collectors, this is something that is very important. You need to keep going back. You need to go back a few times to show them that you are genuinely interested in buying the watch, and also that you genuinely love this piece. And going back to the first point, you're buying it for yourself because you want to be a future client of the brand, whether it's Rolex, AP, or whoever. You need to really show them that you're not just here to resell the watch and you mean business. You're going back, showing your face to the same guy, and make sure whoever the guy you're dealing with, try to stick with that person. The third and most important thing when you keep going to authorized dealers is look for the person you are working with. If you go into an authorized dealer and you keep going back but you keep changing the salesperson, then the salesperson won't be motivated to help you. They want to get the sale and they want a future client. If you're going to buy from Joe and then the next day you're looking and you're talking with Mark or whoever, then if he sees that, he won't be motivated to try to get you ahead of the waiting list and to try to get you that watch, because obviously you don't care about the seller and who you're going to give the sale to. You're just going in and you're just trying to get the watch, any way possible. It is not only polite, but also it will help a lot when you're trying to get your specific dream watch at retail. Essentially, I know it's harsh to say, but they're going to be doing you a favor. So you want to keep going back to that exact same guy who is selling you that watch. Now, the fourth way is obviously what the question was trying to avoid, to become a customer, and this is assuming you want multiple watches from that specific brand. For me, that is a little bit difficult because sometimes you just want a watch because you love the specific watch, but you don't love a lot of things in the brand. In my case, if I like AP, there's a lot of watches that I love there. I would gladly become a future customer and keep purchasing from the boutique. But if you want one watch from Rolex, then becoming a customer just isn't the right thing to do. I know a lot of people recommend that. I have no idea why people recommend that. Spend a lot of money to essentially get what you want. That is the worst advice ever. So that is the fourth way, but I highly, highly recommend avoiding it. If you can't get the watch, it's all materialistic items, who cares? But with these three tips, the first three tips I gave you, you have a big potential to avoid the waiting list, providing that you're not going after the hottest models. Be sensible. Know that the ceramic Daytona is close to impossible for you to not get on a waiting list. Rolex GMT, a Submariner, kind of easy. Look at AP. If you want a 15202, trading now at $70,000, $80,000 from a retail price of $20,000, you're not going to get that. But to be sensible, look at the 15400s, 15450s, 15500. You'll be able to get those if you are actually serious and showing the authorized dealer essentially that you are a potential future customer. Guys, thank you so much for watching. This was just my opinion on how to avoid the waiting list.